I had an interesting experience yesterday. I got to the office and I was sitting there and I was looking at several of the pool projects that are on the walls. We have a lot of cool pictures of the jobs we've done. And I was reminded of being at a good friend of ours lives in Phoenix, and we were at his home for a wine and cheese sort of gathering. And he was collecting an artist's work, a particular artist that is out of New Mexico or somewhere like that. And that day he had happened to have bought another painting from that artist who was in town, and the artist was delivering the painting. This artist was in town and he was going to hand deliver to these people's home. They had a gathering. We were all there having this wine and cheese sort of social, and their home was very cool and had a lot of really awesome artwork. And one of the things they had a lot of was this particular artist's work. And he does these really large portrait and pictures and things, and they're 10 feet by 8 feet, some of them, just gigantic canvases. And they have all these tall walls, and there's these paintings all over the wall. And I was there when the artist came in, and he's doing pretty well for himself. He's got a following, and he obviously is doing some shows because he was in Phoenix at the time doing a show when they bought the piece. And he walked in, and I remember meeting him and then him sort of stopping and paying attention, and he's looking around the house. And he made the comment, he said, "I don't know if I've ever been in a home with as much of my work present as I am right now." And there was this moment for him where he was recognizing that someone loved what he did enough that they collected his stuff. And there's probably some paintings that were 10 years old that he hadn't seen in 10 years, and 2 years old, and 5 years old, and they were all collected in one space. And he was in awe that his work hung on all of these walls. Well, I was reminded of that yesterday as I was sitting in our office with all these paintings, all these pictures of the work that I've done. And I had this, because it's my art and people talk, you've heard me talk about this being my art and what I do, I had this sense of, I want to go there and I want to see it. Much like I witnessed him wanting to touch those paintings and go back, and he stood at each one and he looked at them as he was almost reveling in the recognition of him having done the work. I kind of felt that same way, that I'm called to go to these projects that I've built over the last number of years, to go back there and be a part of it and immerse myself back into it. And it was a really interesting thing because it's not just a project I did, it's not just a pool I built, and it's not just a customer, it's a piece of me. And it was an awe moment for me, realizing that I give that piece of me, but it's a three-dimensional piece of artwork in someone's landscape. It's not a portrait on the wall, or it's not a little sculpture. It's a whole thing that you immerse yourself into. And I was being called back. It was like my babies. Those were my babies that I wanted to go and visit, because there's this connection that I have to each of those projects. And I think as I thought through and I was feeling those feelings, I was thinking through the different things and different stages that I was at as I was doing them and thinking them and feeling about it. And I wanted to relive that experience to see what else was there. So anyway, I wanted to share that with you because it was an odd moment for me, but it was also pretty cool.